Welcome back to the Deep Dive Spotlights. Our latest guest to join us on the Deep Dive Spotlight series is that of Ian Slater, whom you might remember from our segment on Outcrop Gold, for which he currently is the executive chairman. Today, however, Mr. Slater is here with us to discuss AUX Resources, his latest gold project for which he currently serves as chief executive officer. AUX Resources is a highly focused exploration company with assets in British Columbia's famed Golden Triangle, wherein they focus on the Stewart camp in the southern portion of the region. The company currently has a total of 5 projects within this camp, with Georgia River being the firm's flagship project. The Georgia River project is interesting for a few reasons. First, located 16 kilometers south of Stewart, it has direct access to year-round ice-free tidewater. Second, the southern portion of the Golden Triangle has been underexplored relative to the rest of the region, with Georgia River being just one example of this underexploration. Third, the property has a historic mine on the site, which is believed to be just at the periphery of a large mineralized structure. Fourth is that AUX Resources recently announced their 2020 fieldwork program for the property, which we'll have Mr. Slater tell us more about. Welcome back, Ian. AUX recently announced that it would be conducting its 2020 fieldwork program at the Georgia River property. Can you tell us more about this and what the team is looking to accomplish this year?
So we have, it's an historical mine at the property, at the Georgia River property. We're only 16 kilometers from Stewart, which is a deep water port and a helicopter base and an airport and on highways and power. So we're very close to civilization. We're right on tidewater. We're going to explore underneath and on strike from that historical mine, but we're also going to drill new targets. There's a large deformation zone there with a fault going through it, and between that fault and the historical mine, we have a lot of new targets that we want to test.
What are the primary drill targets for the current season?
Well, that's exactly it. It's the old mine, drilling underneath it, drilling along strike from it. We know those veins continue. And then this deformation zone, which is really a huge hydrothermal system, which the mine is on the edge of. We've come up with lots of targets this summer already, and the previous team has over the last decade come up with a lot of targets there, which during the downturn they were never able to fund. So with all of that science that's happened over the last decade, we finally have the capital to be able to drill it and test those targets. And the deformation zone itself, it was sampled about 600 meters of 1 gram material at surface. So it's an exciting large target for us to drill for the first time ever this summer.
Outside of the fieldwork program, the recent news had an interesting tidbit relating to several thousand meters of drilling that was previously completed on site, but not fully sampled. What's the benefit to AUX relogging and sampling these cores?
Well, we were really excited when we saw that core up at site when the snow melted a couple weeks ago. And there's almost 12,000 meters there of core, and it was drilled a couple decades ago. And what was normal back then was they would only sample, to save money, they would only sample the high-grade quartz veins. So they would just visually look at the core and sample only what looks like a high-grade vein. But modern science, that's never happened. So in all of the modern drill campaigns, you sample the entire core because it gives you a lot of valuable information. So at a minimum, we're going to learn a lot about the deposit by sampling that core, and we're going to do that over the fall. We're going to split and assay and log all of that core between now and the end of the year. So in a best case scenario, you can even make a discovery doing that. So there's often mineralization between these high grade veins, and we saw recently in the Golden Triangle, another company did a similar sampling of old core and actually made a discovery that they didn't know about before. So it could be really exciting, and it's really like having not just our own 3,500 meter drill program, but another 12,000 meter drill program.
What can you tell us about the historic mine on site?
Well, this mine was owned by the Guggenheim family it was around the 1910s until the 1930s. It was producing almost an ounce material. And they had a road going down to the tidewater, so it was easy access. And it was one of the largest and earliest mines in the Stewart camp. So it's pretty exciting that that's actually on the property, and it has no modern exploration on it. So we're going to try it out at depth and along strike, but it also has, just to show the potential of the system, it also already has 250,000 ounces in an historical resource there at 27 grams per ton gold. So it's always helpful to be exploring around old mines and in a big system around old mines. It greatly reduces increases your chance of success.
The pitch deck for Georgia River identifies that there is a historic non-compliant resource estimate for the property consisting of roughly 276,000 tons. Will AUX be looking to verify this figure?
Yes, we're going to test that figure and expand it as well. So primarily, we want to step out from that and explore how big this can be, because we're not interested in just a 250,000 ounce deposit. We want to prove out a much larger target.
What excites you most about the Georgia River property?
Well, really the scale of it. So we're in the Stewart camp. There's 50 historical mines. There's Pretium's Brucejack is in this camp. Ascot is redoing the Premier mine, which will be in operation soon. So it's a prolific district, and there are old adits and mines throughout the region, and now modern large scale mines. So being in that district, and then with a hydrothermal system of this size right along a fault which could feed a large deposit, and knowing that there's historic gold mines right there on the project, it's a very, very exciting target, and we're going to find out over the next month. We have half a dozen other properties as well in AUX in that Stewart camp. So some really exciting properties, and we just acquired 2 more, the Independence and Silver Crown properties. So the Silver Crown property, it's right adjacent to Ascot and Pretium, where they're both drilling. So it looks like a very, very exciting target. Last summer, the vendor of the property, the vendor that does, he discovered, I think it was 900 meters of high-grade gold and especially silver results right along that claim. And there's historic silver mines on the Independence property, which is adjacent to the Silver Crown property.
Thank you so much for joining us, Ian, and thank you all so much for watching the Deep Dive Spotlights.